This is it. This is episode 427. At least I think we're calling it that. 427 of No Laugh Track podcast.
That's dope, man. Sounds like an airplane flight number.
Yes, we require masks and stay in your seats at all times. And welcome to flight.
My kind of flight. 427.
427. That is the voice and the face, because we're on video. Kevin Bozeman, who is here at Acme this week. We did this back in January, and at the end of that recording, I said, talk to you in a year.
But then some things happened.
And now here you are, for a very good reason, recording an album.
Yeah. So it was time to get this material out, and I wanted to do it at a place where obviously it just has, like this club is so great, very iconic, especially among the stand-up comedy world.
Yeah.
This place is revered. And so I wanted to do it, and then I reached out to Lewis, the owner, and, I reached out to him just a couple of months ago. And so, comedy shows, they book out so far. And so we were able to crank out and figure out this Wednesday, Thursday deal. So then it was just a matter, once I had the date set, I knew then like the prep work that I needed to make sure I can get the hour to where I was happy with it. And so, so this is it. I think, it's great I want to just get this out and then retire it and then go back to the lab and start, creating a new material, which is daunting, but also fun.
Yeah. Do you, it's come up on the podcast before, people say, I get sick of some of my jokes.
Oh, God, yeah. Always you get sick of them.
Yeah.
And it starts to show in your performance. Like if you look and just, you can tell.
You've noticed that in yourself?
I noticed it with myself. I noticed it with other comics too. Like the freshest bits that you have are the ones you're excited for.
Sure.
You sell them more. The ones you're not golden with, that you've been doing for a while, you just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
As with everything in life, you kind of go through the motions with things that you just been doing, and you just don't have excitement for it. But
are we talking about marriage now?
Yeah, you're talking about all facets of life. Yes, exactly right. And but the new bits and stuff you get excited for because it's new. You want to see how it goes. You want to see the reaction of it. And so, so I'm excited to do this album because a lot of this stuff is still kind of fresh because, I was sitting on it during the pandemic and then I made some changes because, just.
We kind of talked about that last time. Like different things are funny. Things are viewed differently post 2020.
Yeah,
really,
for sure.
Yeah.
And so it's all that combination of those things, and so I'm just happy to be doing this.
And it's good that things and then things started opening up, so you were able to get some stage time between. Because I know you did admit when you were here in January, knocking off some rust.
Oh God, yeah, rust. I still don't think that I'm back to my pre-pandemic shape.
Oh, really?
I'm not back to that guy. That guy was so many shows under his belt and just performing and cranking it out. But now I'm slowly getting back there.
Yeah.
I'm like the second run of the Jordan run, like when he came back in retirement. He wasn't quite the dude that he was, but he still was pretty good. And I'm definitely not saying I'm Jordan, but like just how I feel like I wasn't the dude before the pandemic, but I still feel pretty good about where I'm at. But
now you're wearing number 45 now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, the number change.
Nice. So after this, are you going to take some time off and celebrate that you got this under your belt?
I'm going to
hit stages even more.
I'm going to crank it out for the rest of 21.
You are,
and then 2022, I'm going to ease off the gas pedal because I got my son is in college. My
first
year of college.
Yeah.
I got my little one, and then I have my other one who's playing high school ball. So I want to be able to go and enjoy them for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to crank it out through the end of this year.
Were you a dad that ever got into coaching?
No, I could never coach because I would murder the parents. I couldn't deal with that's the first thing that would happen.
Yeah, you know what?
I would kill the parents.
That's true.
Because they're horrible people. They're horrible people. They have an expectation for their kids that they could never live up to themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just, and then they put so much emphasis on winning as opposed to, and yeah, I get it. Like you want to win and this and that, but like it's about development of your kid overall. So you got to be able to relax. But I couldn't do that. And plus the X's and O's, like that's not really, I don't want to be sitting there coming up with plays and I don't have that kind of passion for sports. I like to go and watch, and I can tell you what you're doing wrong or what you're doing right. Yeah. But I can't sit there day to day and live that life. Yeah. So no coaching.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. My one of my daughters we've been planning. She was going to get into swimming this fall, and I was a swimmer. I was very excited to hear that. And then last week she comes. She's like, "Dad, you're not going to like this." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm not going to swim. I'm going to play volleyball." I'm like, as long as you're doing, I was like, you know what? As long as you're doing something. And that is truly how I feel. As long as she's doing something, I'm happy. Did I want it to be swimming? Yes, I wanted it to be swimming.
Yeah, of course.
I did. I even like the smell of being in the pool, like by the pool. I miss the whole experience. So I was looking forward to that. Now, and it immediately made me think of Chad Daniels' joke about when he used to go to his daughter's volleyball games and the girls' outfits and how he would show up and be like, "You just pick a brick on the wall and stare at that, and you don't look at anything else the whole time. Just pick your favorite brick."
Yeah. Don't stare at that. Yeah.
So I believe that is in my future. So let's get back to the recording the album here. Do you have I don't know if it's even that big of a deal anymore, but do you have a title picked out for this thing?
Nope.
Nothing? Is that important to you?
It will be.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
The No Name album. Kevin Bozeman, No Name. No, yeah, I will be. It'll come. I got some ideas, but it'll come.
Yeah.
I'm probably down to like 2 or 3 names, but I'll come up with it.
Okay.
I'll come up with it.
What is the process you've done to record other albums? Has it been, normally it's not a Wednesday and Thursday night. Normally it's the big weekend crowds, right?
So there was only a few places that I wanted to go and would consider recording.
Have you done that in the past with big weekends,
Oh, yeah. Always just weekends.
Yeah.
Every last one of my shows have been, sets have been weekends. And there's only a few places that I would have considered doing it. And so this worked out. And Wednesday, Thursday, it's fine. Like we promoted it. I had some people to help promote it. And we had good numbers last night for Wednesday, and it's looking great tonight too. So I'm good with it. And really, it didn't matter if I only had 20 people there. I just wanted it out there. I want to record this and have it out there to the masses. So.
Hell yeah. Did anybody come up to you afterwards and say they showed up because they saw Hannibal Buress's tweet about it? Because that's a good bump.
Yeah, it's one of my best friends in comedy. And so maybe no one came up to me and said it, but you know, I'm sure.
I heard you on
because I did.
I heard you on Chad's podcast, Chad and Size show. Do the show with Chad. Talk about it on there.
And so I did shows with Hannibal. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago here in Minneapolis. So if they remember me from there and enjoyed me, and he just mentioned that I was out there. So yeah. So yeah, a few cool people have mentioned the podcast on their podcast or their social media that I was out.
So what is your expectation for, like, do you want any major changes tonight versus last night, or?
There'll be some soft edits. I prefer to do a set without a phone ringing.
Yeah.
Remember that phone? Phone went off. Yeah, but that's just a live show. There's some ways that I don't want to change it because it's live shows are I think that's what makes it great. They're sometimes imperfect.
Yeah, I completely agree. It can add some real good uniqueness.
Yeah, for sure. It makes the show, and it shows like the vulnerability of doing a live set. So
Some of the most memorable things that from like shows like Saturday Night Live and stuff like that, or the mistakes. Really, when people break character and stuff like that, and things don't go right, they end up going really well.
Yeah,
make it really memorable. I loved last night when that happened. You're like, I'm just gonna pretend like that was part of the show.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Someone throws you a curveball, you got it right. Got to get on base.
I mean, it was supposed to be 5 minutes ago, but we're working on it.
Yeah, right? Yeah. You got to get on base.
We're working on it. So I really enjoyed the set last night. I mean, I saw
Thank
it.
you.
I watched you already back in January, so this is my second time. I enjoyed both.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes I made from January till
absolutely
now, right?
Yes.
People are like, was it going to be the same? I was like, not entirely.
Nope. It
Like,
is not entirely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you sit there and you craft something, it's one thing to perform and there's another thing to be working towards something. So once I started working towards something, it was trimming a lot of fat, a lot of things that I would say that was dismissive in January. It's like, I don't want anything to be dismissive. I want everything to count.
So we've talked in the past. You have a dry bar special, which is clean.
Yeah.
The stuff you recorded last night and we'll be doing tonight. This is for Kevin Bozeman, an 800-pound gorilla, correct?
Yeah.
This is not for dry bar. This is the real deal.
Not.
This is your real stuff.
I always just tell people like I don't work clean or dirty. I try to work funny.
Yeah.
And sometimes things come out of me that's funny, that's clean, and sometimes it's dirty. But if you ask me to do a clean show, I could do a clean show. But if you just say you don't care about the content, you just want it to be funny, then that's what I try to do, which is what I've always tried to do. But it's some just manipulating words. Some jokes don't come across as clean just because sometimes I swear, but that's just the way I talk. So I try to be in my most natural speaking voice.
Yeah.
But if I need to be clean, I can remove words to make the joke clean. But then some jokes are just not clean in nature, so it doesn't matter if I don't swear at all. It's not a thing.
So Louis C.K. was here like a month ago or whatever, and I can't quote things that he said, but I'll get sued, right, Brandon? I can't. Well, I think that anyway. He talks about one of the things he talked about in his set is that fat people are the last group that can be still made fun of, and that there are very few, and then really that's it. And he has some good examples of that in his set. And then last night, you have at least one or two jokes
But so it's two things. One, I agree with them in the sense that weight is more of a life choice than, you're not born fat per se.
Yeah.
Right? You're born a certain color of skin.
Yep.
You're born, and despite what people say, people aren't choosing to be gay. They are gay. So there's certain things you can't make fun of that. That's been stripped away. But weight is always that borderline, but it really depends on how far you go with it.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't, I talk about it, but I would actually argue that I don't actually make fun of fat people. I'm actually supporting them in my joke, but I reference them.
You know what? You say that, and Louis C.K. is in his example, like his too.
I'm not
making
fun of them. And then I also, I make fun of parents who are raising fat kids, but I'm not making fun of, like, being overweight.
Right.
I'm attacking the parents on that.
Yeah.
And the other joke is I'm actually in support of overweight people that's trying to get their life together and live a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's all really, that's just the beauty of the joke. Some people will hear it and they will hear fat, or they'll hear gay, or they'll hear black, and then they just automatically shut down.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to it's just certain words.
Yep.
Just make them automatically shut down without actually hearing it.
Yeah.
To that, I don't really give a shit. Like I do what I do, and whatever, and the jokes speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So like I'm not fat shaming. I believe
No,
that's
no.
what it's called.
Yeah,
So
no.
yeah, so people do that. But that's the beauty of writing jokes and being able to dance around the political correctness, because I don't actually like, everybody always like, oh, it's a cancel culture, and I actually am maybe one of the few people that think that cancel culture doesn't really exist in stand up.
Okay.
Right?
What do you mean?
I only know one person whose stand up comedy has gotten them canceled. I know stand-up comics who've been canceled, but not because of their stand-up comedy. And the only comic that I know that was canceled was that guy who went in on his opener, who was an Asian dude, and he just went in and just shredded him for being Asian. There was really no comedy behind it. He got on stage and shredded him, the guy, for being Asian, his host, and just tore into him. And from then, he, people dropped him. They didn't book his shows or whatever. And that was a cancel, and that I actually didn't have a problem with it. But for stand-up, who's been canceled for doing stand-up?
You're right. It's maybe a temporary, like, I got to take a step back.
No, people will ask you to explain yourself or say something, like defend like what you're doing, but no one besides that guy that I could think of has been canceled for stand-up comedy.
Yeah, that's true. How about that guy that named himself the next host of Jeopardy? They recorded a week's worth of shows, and then he stepped away because they found shit he said on a podcast.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Listen,
and they're gonna air the episodes like just 1 week. Like,
there's
what a joke!
I know, like it's everyone. There was a guy that got picked for Saturday Night Live, had some stuff on this podcast.
Oh yeah, Shane Gillis
that was taken, and then there's
he's doing fine now. By the way.
Is he?
Shane Gillis? Oh yeah, he's selling tickets.
Yeah, of course.
He's touring.
Right,
he's doing great.
Ari Shaffir was canceled for his Kobe Bryant rant.
Right.
That wasn't
sure,
but that wasn't stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
That was a take.
Yeah.
An awful take, but it was a take, and it wasn't stand-up. It was just him ranting on a platform.
Yeah.
That's not stand-up comedy. Like, so that's different. Canceling on stand-up there's still things where you go on stage. I still believe that stand-up comedy is the way to go, and the response that you get is it lets you know whether or not that routine is canceled, but you're not canceled per se.
Well, except we haven't heard much of what's his name, Kramer from Seinfeld, after he went on his N-word rant like 20 years ago.
True, but also
and that was on a stage.
That was on the stage, but then he was canceled for a little bit, but he wasn't canceled enough where they didn't have him back for the Seinfeld reunion.
Was he?
He was there. He was there for the Seinfeld reunion. And so
Jerry.
So a couple of those things have been canceled, but those two things I'm arguing aren't stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
It's on stage, but he was upset and just started calling people nigga. Right? That's not comedy. That's not, right?
Nope.
You can stand up. I mean, you can call it comedy. It was on stand-up stage, but no one was like, this is brilliant. Like, he said it, and everybody was like, no, that's not comedy, even if it's stand-up comedy. And that was what, 15 years ago?
At least 15, 20 probably. So
15, 20.
So have you been like taken to task ever of a
yeah.
Like really, Kevin, you can't be going there. You can't.
No,
don't.
I've been taken to task by audience members, and that's I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I like to toe the line. I like to take the envelope and push it as far as you want me to push it, and then go, I could push this further. I like for audiences to draw lines in the sand for me, and then the fun part is taking a line and moving it and then they're going, "Thank you. All right, cool. That's cool. We like that you moved the line. We drew a line in the sand, and you scratched it out and moved it. And that, to me, that's one of the ways of doing stand up is taking something uncomfortableness and then showing like, no, it's all right. Hear me out.
So one of the shows I've listened to you on recently, another one I haven't mentioned yet, is the comedy Mainline you did with Steve Gillespie and Robert Burrill. So I don't know which show I listened to you on that I'm getting this from. But you mentioned about how you have the joke about charging for the N-word.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorites. I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
And you talked about, well, I don't know if I'm going to do that on the album because of the topic.
Yeah, well.
And last night, you did it.
There. I was there because I did it. So I did.
Is that a conscious decision? It
just
just
I
comes
knew
up while you're on a roll.
I thought for sure I was gonna do it. That doesn't. So here's a couple of things is true. It's like just because I did it and it was recorded doesn't mean it makes the album. Right.
Yep.
That's to be determined.
Sure.
Just because I did it doesn't mean it makes the album. But I definitely wanted to put it out there. Like it doesn't mean that I was going. Like I'm going to put it out there, but put it on the album. But I definitely wanted to do it. Yeah, I mean, you just make decisions and judgments, and then you feel like if you have something to say and it's meaningful and it's not just. So I don't like to just do jokes and just be funny. I like to do stuff that's going to actually people will go home and think about it and go, wait a second. Like, what is he really saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I try to be on that level. Not to say that I am, but that's just a goal.
Right.
Like I'm not sitting here saying like when I do my jokes, everyone goes home and thinks about
Yeah.
it. It might be
you better leave some time to dissect this when you
right,
get home.
But that's my goal is to be funny and also have a conscience out there and actually have something to say that's more than just the immediate gratification of a laugh.
Yeah.
But actually take you somewhere. A lot of times when I first started, I was saying jokes and it was just running around in a circle. But now I try to take you from point A to point B. I try to take you on a journey. So when you leave, you know more about me and how I think. And then some people might go, never thought about it like that. And then they might be like, yo, actually, I saw this comedian, Kevin Bozeman, and he said this, and it makes a lot of sense. And so that's kind of
Love it.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Love it. So I'm gonna have a question for you here and see if I'll learn something more about you. Have you ever won like a drawing or a raffle, just like a random win, maybe some money? Maybe as a kid you won a bag of candy or something. Anything come to mind that you won? Just a random raffle.
I was performing at a college, and this was back when I was still drinking soda or pop, whatever they call it. What do they call it out here? Soda? Or is it pop?
Pop in Minnesota.
Pop in Minnesota?
Oh, yeah.
Pop in Chicago, too. So I was at a show and wanted a pop, asked for a Coke. They didn't have Coke. And then she goes, do you want a Pepsi instead? And I was like, I'll take a Pepsi for sure. She brings me back a Pepsi. I open it up, and I won an iPod.
No kidding.
And
was it inside the can?
It was the inside the label. It was a 20-ounce plastic bottle.
Oh, bottle.
I opened up that. I opened up the cap.
Yeah.
You just won an iPod. What? I already had an iPod. So a buddy of mine worked at Best Buy, and I took the iPod and flipped it for a big screen TV. Flip that shit for a big screen TV, baby. Thanks, Pepsi.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Although, what was that? An early model iPod, probably?
Yeah, it's called an iPod.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that answers it all.
I've just on eBay. I saw one of the original iPods. Somebody was selling one unopened, like $1,000, like as some sort of collector's item.
Like, yeah,
ridiculous. But that's a fantastic story. I completely caught off guard, was notified that I won something this morning. I entered a raffle a couple months ago, I think. So I'm going to read you this thing.
All right.
Congratulations. You were one of the grand prize winners in the 800-pound gorilla Chad Daniels sweeps.
Nice.
You are receiving 1 coffee mug and 1 fat head of Chad. I want a Chad Daniels fat head.
Where would you put that?
I have no idea.
I think you should put it on the hood of your car.
I have no idea. Can I flip it for a TV?
Head. Listen, you got to probably go somewhere near Fargo. You got to go somewhere in Fergus Falls, Minnesota, where, he's a legend out there, and then maybe they might give you a TV. But then no place probably sells TVs at Fergus Falls. So that's dope.
Yes, thank you so much for your patience. The mug order got canceled, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for being part of our troop. So I signed up, I think, on like Instagram or Twitter or something a few months ago. And I want a mug. I'm getting a Chad Daniels mug. Isn't that nuts? So 800-pound gorilla is also who you're working with your album.
Yeah, and there will be no such giveaways for me like that.
What?
Good Lord, no.
What?
There's gonna be no such thing. No.
Kevin Bozeman bobblehead?
No chance.
Bobble arm where you're like holding the microphone?
Shot. You can have a picture of me having a drink. Hey, congratulations. You signed up for the 800-pound gorilla Kevin Bozeman. Picture of him having a drink after his show.
I have no idea when this picture was taken. It was already in existence.
There'll be different random photos.
So I don't mean to brag, but big winner right here. That's all
dope,
I'm saying.
man. A win's a win.
I know.
A win's a win.
Man, did that catch me off guard. I was like, what is this? Congratulations.
Right?
Most times, when you see something, congratulations, it's like a fake,
Here's an Amazon free gift card. Just take this 90-minute survey and you get $20 from Amazon.
Exactly.
Ooh,
yeah.
Sweet.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Just give us all of your information and you'll be in the running. You want a chance to be in the running for this prize that we're probably not ever giving away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got another question for you. Your name is Kevin Bozeman. That's not a question. That's a statement. Have you always liked the name Kevin? And the reason I asked this, I saw this thing that Kanye West, did you see he wants to change his name?
Yeah, I don't know what he wants to change it to, but
to Ye.
To Ye?
Yeah, Y-E.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin is just a great name, dude. I think they would. I was gonna keep whatever name. If my parents would have named me something weird, gave me one of them goofy, ridiculous, super ethnic names, I would have kept it. I think what I want is people to hear my name and not cringe. That's it. That's the goal. Kevin Bozeman. Ugh. And then I named my son that, Kevin Bozeman Jr. Like, you gotta live with this. You gotta live with this fucked up legacy too, Holmes. I'm not going out by myself. Like, that's it. You just have a name, and then people say the name, and you don't want them to cringe. And people could be like, in the end, and like, you know what? It was a solid dude.
Yeah.
A solid dude.
Yeah.
That's it.
I like that.
That's the game with the name. It's just to not have a negative connotation going behind it.
Yeah. I like that. How, I don't want to, should we get some tissues? I'm going to ask you about bringing your kid to college or the kid leaving to college. How is that for a father? Your son leaving for college?
Oh, listen, I had mixed emotions, but he was being such a dick in the end. I was like, this nigga's got to go. When is there early check-in? Go.
Just start walking.
No, he had a move-in time at 9 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, move-in time at 9 in the morning. So we to leave at 6:30. He's gonna take his brother with him, and I was following. And at 2:30 in the morning, he gets home from being out, and he starts packing and stuff. He gets to sleep at like 4:15 and wakes up at like 5:45, and he's like, I'm ready. I can drive. I was like, dude, in what situation you really think I'm gonna let you drive to the University of Illinois 2.5 hours with your brother in a car and you're on an hour and a half sleep. I go, driving with no sleep, it's just below drinking and driving. I'd rather give you 2 shots of tequila and toss you the keys from that. And so I was just so irritated at that horrible decision. And, of course, he was just like, I don't see the problem. Of course you don't see the problem. Of course you don't. That's why you're going to school, to educate yourself.
Yeah.
To learn something. And so that was – and I'm telling you, that did take the edge off. Like, I was no longer, like, sad to see him go. But then when I dropped him off and came back, I saw his car in my driveway, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
But I'm not sentimental that way. I'm not sentimental that way.
Did you take everything out of his bedroom already and make it like your office?
No, he was that's another thing. He was so stoked to leave to go to college that I couldn't help be happy for him. Like, if he had any sort of nervousness or trepidation or anything, I would have been like, oh my gosh, my son. But he was just like, I can't wait to get away from you. I was like, all right, Holmes, I get it, man. Let's go. He was stoked to leave. So yeah.
I am really feeling your son right now, because this just brought back memories of I did something very similar when I left at 18 years old for college. We went out and had a freaking rager the night before. I remember we drove to a strip club, I think, in Minneapolis, and on the way we might have had a small bong in the car. I remember, this is why it stands out, because I remember a car driving up next to us and busting us all, like hitting a bong and passing it around. The next morning, I'm getting in that car to take it up to Duluth, Minnesota for college. It still, of course, smelled like we've been partying in there all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar.
So I gave him all of that, though. And I was like, listen, man, 2 nights before, have at it. Get it in.
Okay.
Do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right? But the night before, pack up, get a good night rest, and let's make sure we're golden and ready to go.
Yeah.
And then he did it 2 nights before and then tried to run it back. And that's when I was like, nah, man. Nah, dude. And so that's where it's at. I'm not opposed to you getting it in. But I remember, like, when I went off to college, like, my mother was sad, but I was so happy to leave. I just remember that feeling of finally going out to start carving my own path.
Yeah.
That like, it wasn't even really I almost feel selfish to be sad and woe is me that my son is leaving, and he's when like, I've been prepping him for this moment, and so I'm excited to see the prep work that I've done.
There you go.
I'm excited to see if the seasoning I put on him is going flavor him up.
That's right. You don't want him to go stale right away there. Is the Ball Hog podcast, you're wearing the T-shirt right now of your podcast, there has not been one released in the month of August, and we're almost at the end.
Yeah, well, it's coming. I'm going to bring it back because the football season is going to start here pretty soon. And as you know, sports gambling is my numero uno thing. I love it.
Bozeman Mutual.
Handicapping, right. I love handicapping sports games, and so that will be dropping. I'll have one out next week where I'm going to be previewing the college football season, along with talking about other stuff that I talk about, Stand Up the album and all of these things. And then following week, I'll preview the NFL season, and then off to the races I go.
There you go. Should I draft my fantasy football team based on players I know have been vaccinated?
No. Only if it's a toss-up. Like if you're torn between 2 people.
Sure, there you go.
But then, like, are you doing that? Are you that much of a psychopath where you're doing the research to see who's vaccinated and who's not? Yeah.
No, I only know one, Kirk Cousins. Is it not?
Of course. Of course. But then again, like, in theory, you're drafting quarterbacks. You should be drafting quarterbacks last. And in theory, Kirk Cousins has an impressive amount of weapons on his team. The only thing that's stopping Kirk Cousins from being good is Kirk Cousins. And that's what you have to weigh as a Vikings fan. So fantasy and reality are two different things. You got Kirk Cousins in real life for your football season, and you're like, oh, geez, I know we're not going to win a Super Bowl. But fantasy, he's got Jefferson, he's got Thielen, he's got Dalvin Cook. Like, those are all top 3-4 round players right there. So, yeah.
For sure. Finally, I have one more football question for you.
Yeah, fire away.
Former Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater has been named the starter for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
Did you see that coming? I did not.
Yeah, that's why. I saw it coming. That's why they got him, because he was a. So sometimes quarterbacks are, you can't win us the game, but could you not lose it?
Yeah.
And Teddy Bridgewater is the ultimate. Hey, we lost, but it wasn't because of me.
That's true.
But he's also the ultimate. We could have won if Teddy was better. But he's a solid middle of the road quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. That defense is really good. They got playmakers. They got, in theory they should have a decent running game. They drafted a running back. They still got Melvin Gordon. The defense they got two good cornerbacks. Vaughn is healthy. They also got another kid that's defensively that can rush that's healthy. So, man.
Look at this. You didn't know I was going to bring up the Denver Broncos, and you have all that knowledge. But this is just proof that people should listen to Ball Hog and his picks.
True, but the problem is like he's in a division where they got two quarterbacks that's just like, nah, we ain't losing.
No.
Right?
Yep.
He's got, Patrick Mahomes is like that, and Justin Herbert is trending.
Oh, yeah.
So you got those two dudes. It's just like, you're going to have to make a play, Teddy.
Yeah.
You have to make a play.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Is there anything else? I think we did it today. Is there anything else we should be mentioning? People have to come. You got one more night here. We got tonight.
And then
follow you on social media. You're all over there.
Yeah, KevinBozeman.com for tour dates, man. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me, because I'm out there. I'm out there. For reals.
And a couple of new episodes of the podcast coming in a few weeks.
Yes, sir. Kevin, that's where you stream podcasts at. You can go ahead, do it, write a review, especially if I give you winners. If I give you winners and you don't say shit, then shame on you. And if I give you losers and you don't say shit, also shame on you.
That's a perfect way to end it. Shame on you.
Shame on you. Maybe in the name of my new special. Shame on you.
There we go. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.